Alright, Steve grows pumpkins, the 2026 GPC Growers Jacket Chase. And here we are, weeding again. One of these videos I'm going to make this season sometime, at some point, maybe. It's going to be a boring old video, and I'm going to get on here and say, nah, I ain't done no weeding at all this week. But right now, that ain't the case. So, Lambsquarter, sometimes called pigweed, overrun this patch the last 3 years. I can't stay ahead of it. A bunch of research, and I'm finding out why. It's because each one of these can produce up to 20,000 seeds, and the seeds can lay dormant in this dirt for years. And the reason it lays dormant in there is because it's looking for clean, uninhabited dirt to germinate in. And that's why you don't see this out in the big pastures and front yards and grass stuff, because there's lots of grass there and just don't want to be where other stuff is. It turns out the recommended method to prevent this from happening is to not let it happen, and you do that by having something here in its place. Don't provide nice clean dirt for this to germinate in. And by that I mean cover crop. So I keep saying, everybody keeps talking about in-season cover crops, and I keep saying, man, I don't have time to deal with that. But yet I've been dealing with this stuff for weeks. So I have been undertaking a massive Lambsquarter eradication project. I've still got this area to do right here. I came in here with my weed eater with the hedger attachment on it, chopped it all down. Pulled up all my drip lines, ran the tiller through here. Now, based on what I just told you, that's just setting me up for the next batch to start growing. But I'm going to try and stay ahead of it. I'm going to put my walk boards all down through here and try and walk down with the stirrup hoe once a day and get everything cleaned out. I've still got a little bit of cleaning to do on some areas I didn't want to run the tiller in. I didn't want to run the tiller up here because I got all kinds of stuff here I didn't want to take a chance at grabbing hold of. All my electricity runs through here, and this strip line's kind of out in the patch a little bit. After last week's video, I did some poking around in here, some finger poking, and dug some holes with my post hole diggers. Concerned I'm not getting enough water, but I'm currently putting 100 gallons out here, and what I'm finding when I'm poking and when I dug my holes is, these look like tiny little spots out here, and I was even worried. I was like, good grief, this soil is bone dry. But underneath the soil, all these spots spread out and go pretty deep, and I think I'm getting plenty of water, in the root zones. We're going to start looking at plants. We'll start off with the 2469 forward. Yeah. What in the world is that? There ain't no growing tip. Yep. So, worked late one day and I came out here at 10 o'clock at night with the flashlight, checked things out. You remember we talked about this plant was doglegging right, doglegging left, doglegging right. And it was currently in his dogleg left stance. And I just keep working it back and forth. And I was like, you know what? Maybe Jim Ford made a hybrid plant that does the S-curve for you. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, the tendril had wrapped this leaf back here and had it held up, and it was standing up, pretty much 90 degrees. And I cut the tendril off and it hit the ground. I don't know what I was thinking. Pretty sure I broke it off, although there's no evidence to prove it. No big deal, just a minor setback. I'm going to take this secondary right here. I'm going to kind of push this to the left over here and get staked up and just turn this secondary. I'm gonna lay it down just like that and turn it right up the middle of that landing strip right here. Not a big deal. It's just a minor setback, and it's gonna cost me some time filling in, some time setting fruit. The funny thing is, this spot right here, 2 years ago, I grew a fruit that made it to scale
also growing on secondary vines. So I've only been able to grow on secondary vines in this spot. Maybe I'm going to rename this spot the secondary patch. The secondaries are starting to push out, and I'll just run them all right up through here too, along the new secondary main. And I think everything's going to be okay. Thankfully, I have a backup that I'm really liking right now. Backup grow doing exactly what a backup grow is supposed to do. I'm so happy with what's going on over here right now. And it's not just the plant performance, but it's the whole setup. The ground cover is working out great. The drip has been flawless since day one. I've only had 2 issues with it. I cut a line up there cutting a hole, and I ran a landscape pin somewhere around down here I had to fix. I found that it's a lot easier to cut the holes for the vine when the drip is running. I'm running it right now because you can just kind of rub your hands across and you can feel it a lot better when it's got water in it as opposed to when it's empty. Alright, the 1511 haul. Showing a little bit of heat stress. I'm going to have to put some shade over here. It's just now getting some shade from this tree, but man, the sun's been hammering on it. Noticeable growth in all directions every day. I've been cutting holes in the ground cover and burying it in. Really pleased. Really pleased. I think once I get one down there ways, I'll probably come up here and clean off some of this junk all over the stump. I need to get a fan over here. I do have electricity for the fan over there. It needs a fan now. But all in all, I'm really pleased with this so far. It's got a little pumpkin on the tip right here. And yesterday I thought it was going to be green, but it's looking like it's going to turn yellow. Definitely not going to pollinate up here. I've got 10 active secondaries growing. We'll definitely want to get it on down in here somewhere and get 20 or more secondaries. I'm going to let it keep on going so I can see what it looks like. This has really been a worry-free grow for me over here. I check on it twice a day, cut holes every couple of days, and I've been able to start up the drip system and walk away from it and do other stuff and just monitor the level in the tank and come back over and cut it off when it's done. So I'm really liking what I got going on over here. Might see more of this in the future. Back to the main patch, and we're starting off in spot number 1, the 2449 Wolf, and finally throwing some secondaries on this. I don't have any secondaries for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. My very first secondary coming off is the 5th node. So don't know what's going there. There's actually a secondary right here, but it's doing some funky stuff, and it's not even trying to come out of there. I'm probably going to cut that off. So starting at node number 5, starting to finally get secondaries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I got 11 secondaries trying to get out here. Nice big leaves on this plant. I got a little bit of leaf damage here. That's where I ran holes by accident in them. They were rubbing up against these bamboo stakes. That's what caused these holes. And the hole in that one over there. So when it was real short, I'm trying to put the bamboo stakes at a real sharp angle and not putting them straight up anymore. But this plant kind of rolled over a little bit, and I had to be a little more aggressive on it, and ended up putting some holes in the leaves. So it's a couple hours since I was out here last talking about drip, and so you can see the drip there. Nice wet spots everywhere. But this is all wet here. That's because I gave them all a nice little cold shower. The sun was just being relentless on them. The heat and sun, it's just been beating them crazy. So I came out here and got the water hose out and gave them all a little cold bath. This one's trying to stand up on me. I've been coming out every day and easing it down just a little bit at a time during the heat of the day, and so far going my way. I don't want to break this one off like I did the Ford, and also the plant that grew in this spot last year, the 2501 Bernstrom, also broke off right about this same spot and ended up running a secondary down. So trying to prevent that right now, and so far it's going my way. 44.5 Don Barron. This thing's getting really long. It's about 14-15 feet long right now. Secondaries are finally starting to come out. I'm running them underneath these walk boards. I'm getting little tiny fruit on all the secondaries. I pulled off 3 of them this morning. There's one right there, needs to come off. This plant is dying to make a fruit. I've already pulled off like 5 females off of this. So about another 4 feet or so, we're going to be right where I set the 1511 last year. And I'm not opposed to setting in this area. So the next female that pops up on the main is going to get pollinated. And it may not be where I want it with enough plant to support it or location or any of that. But it's going to get pollinated, and then we'll move on from there. Pollinate everything after that. Leave sunburned a little bit. I need to get some shade solutions for this area back here. Sun's really hammered us down this week. But finally making some decent progress on this plant. It was growing really long, just main, and now it's starting to spread out a little bit. Finishing up with the 2618 Mindy. This is growing in all directions now. It's growing a lot every day. I got lots of secondaries running. I think I'm up to 15 now. I am not far from where I set fruit in this spot last year on my plant. I'm only about 2, maybe 3 feet away from that. I don't have a female right here, but the next female is going to get pollinated no matter what, and we'll see what happens after that. And I'm only about 10 feet from the edge of the end of the patch, so I'm going to watch this thing real close. It seems like it wants more square footage. I'd already thought about, coincidentally, before I broke that, about pulling up 2 of these and robbing a couple hundred square feet from this plant and turning it around over here and filling in a couple hundred square feet. Yeah. Might do that, might not. It's a little too early to tell. I gotta see how things go the next couple weeks. Did have a little baby on this open up this morning. We talked about it last week, and I left it on there just so I could see what it looks like. Alright, sun's in my background here, so nice big long stem, football shaped fruit, and pretty decent symmetrical 4 lobes there. So I did not pollinate it. It opened up on its own this morning, and I just wanted to see what it was going to look like. I'm not near ready for fruit on this plant, but I hope the next one looks very similar to this or better. This crazy contraption here, this plant has been getting beat up the worst by the sun, so I had to do something. I had to do it now. This was packaged. It's 30%. I bought it as 30%. The package said 30%. It was way darker than any of these others, which are supposed to be 30%. So I had it out earlier in the season. I didn't use it because of that, but this plant really needs it bad. The sun trajectory, as the sun comes up over there, and it goes like this all day long, and see it back there right now. Before it gets to the top of these trees, it's pointed directly inside of here. This is the only plant that has direct access to the sun at that stage. This one is protected, and those 2 are facing the opposite direction. So this one's been getting hammered. You can kind of see a little bit of UV leaf damage on the new growth up here, and hopefully I'm getting ahead of that with this shade. It's time to move the table up a spot and bury in a couple more nodes. But I'm really pleased with this plant. I think I will be pollinating in a couple of weeks. Today is June 7th. I think getting one around the 20th is probably reasonable expectations on this plant. All right, that's June 7th update as the sun beats me in the back here. Hopefully next week's update, I'll be knee deep into bearing vines instead of knee deep into Lambsquarter. Hopefully I'm getting that behind me finally. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.